Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Glad you're along with us here on this edition of Longshore and McKnight. I'm Barry McKnight. Great to have you along. John is off again today, and once again, pinch hitting in with us is Warren Matthews. Warren, you're back home, right?
Back home, back in the home office in Montgomery. Home base is Greenville, but home office is Montgomery. I made the trip up I-65. It was pretty quiet, not too many cars up. I think the state's got a delayed opening maybe today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's, guys, it's cold out there.
Yes, it is. I was trying to figure it out beforehand. Here, I'm in my home studio after Wednesday, Thursday, Friday shows on the road. So it is good to be back for me as well. And I was trying to center up what the temperature is here in Troy, Alabama. Right now, it says 28 degrees, but it feels like 15 degrees outside right now.
Yeah,
Severe weather
temperature
advisory
means nothing. Temperature means nothing. Those two words is what's the most important thing. Feels like.
Yes. So be careful out there today and for the next couple of days. I don't think there's much ice in our area, Montgomery, Central Alabama, if any, but there were high winds. There was damage. There is cold weather out there. So just be careful whenever you're listening to us and watching us, just be careful out there. Watch out for the other guy and bundle up, because it is cold out there. John is, again, he'll be back on Wednesday. Warren, good enough to be with us today and tomorrow as he was on Friday. And gosh, where do we start? Do we start with the Super Bowl? Do we start with that? That's a national story. I don't know how much it resonates here in our region, but it was really snowy in Denver, Colorado. I can tell you that because I watched that game. And Warren, I don't know if I've ever seen a game where the weather changed so completely, so severely in the middle of a really big game. If you watch the first half of that Denver-New England game, Denver got up 7-0 and green grass, and it was cold, but, sunshine. And then second half, oh my gosh, it was a blizzard. You couldn't see. There was a punt for the, I want to say it was for the Patriots. And Nance and Tony Romo said, well, not a very good punt. I couldn't tell you where the ball went out of bounds. I can see where it went out of bounds, but as far as the yard line, I have no idea.
Barry, if I don't know if you saw this yesterday or heard it, it was pretty funny. So they had identical records.
Yes.
And Denver got, based on a tiebreaker, I think it was strength of opponents or something like that, Denver got the home. And so it was all because the Raiders beat the Patriots in like week 1 or week 2. That was the difference in the whole thing. So if they'd have won that game, the Patriots had won that game, then the game would have been in Foxborough. And they showed Foxborough. Foxborough had like 3 feet of, it was 10 times worse than Denver. I can't even imagine. They might have even delayed the game. It'd been that bad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it was crazy. And you knew, it was just, I think I even said on the show, it had to be a 9-7 game, 10-7 game.
Yeah.
But obviously the other direction. But Jared Stidham did fine. As a backup, he did fine. It was hard. It was hard. So
I still totally disagreed with the call that said that it was a backwards pass. It was a backward pass because the guy deflected it, and that ended up getting New England their only touchdown and all that. Do you ever remember as a kid, was this ever a thing with you? I had a friend when I was growing up that had one of those football games that you get for Christmas that had the tin top to it, the tin field. You have the little magnetic guys in there. That's what that looked like, and the field goal thing. field goal kick, it was like you knew that somebody just caught a break, just got lucky. Anybody making a field goal in that? I think there were 3 missed field goals in the game, including one from Denver late that would have tied it. And you're like, flip a coin. If it goes through, it's absolute pure blind luck. And
I had the buddies who were so good at that game. I was never any good. I played all the games. I did all those things. The one thing I never could figure out, Barry, maybe you're smart, you can tell me, why in the go-kart thing at the beach, my go-kart didn't go as fast as the other kids. Of course, I was about 120 pounds in the 4th grade.
That was probably it. That was.
Yeah, I think I knew there was some kind of something about aerodynamics or something like that, right?
Yeah, same deal where basically you're out of control. You don't know where you're going. You got some little kid who knows how to lean into it and lean out of it and everything. And he's always the one that's got the torque or the centrifugal force, and he's going to hit you really well. I was a big kid. I was tall, and the aerodynamics of it was bad. So New England ends up winning it 10-7. Now, we know who the Super Bowl participants are as of Sunday, January 25th. But the Super Bowl won't be until Sunday, February the 8th. That's 2 weeks.
What's your thought about the 2 weeks for the Super Bowl?
The only reason why you have it is to allow for the run-up, to allow for all the talk, all of the parties, basically, because the Super Bowl, which is going to be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, the Super Bowl itself is just a show. It's not like the conference championship games or anything in the regular season because, you're not going to see tons of New England fans and tons of Seattle fans. You're going to see the rich people, the celebrities, and they're going to have the parties. That's the only reason. Plainsman Preston says, and to fit in the Pro Bowl, and the Pro Bowl is laughable. So that's 2 weeks. And I get kind of tired of it after 2 weeks. Now, we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll get something out of the Phantom when he returns. Probably not this week, but probably the next week. You had a chance. Maybe I was on the road. Again, shout out to Troy men's basketball. 10 wins in their last 11 games. They complete an undefeated road trip, winning on Saturday at Georgia Southern, 83-78. We stopped at Buc-ee's on the way back. And
what's that environment like in Statesboro? What do they do? How's a basketball game in Statesboro?
Well, it's their second year with a brand new arena. They used to have the worst arena in the league, the worst gym in the league. There's a buddy of mine, Chris Davis, who used to work with me when I was over in Auburn working. That's the athletic director at Georgia Southern. They're a good basketball team. They've hit the skids, but it's like Troy. It's a football school that does pretty well at basketball, except Troy does really well in basketball and really well at anything. The atmosphere was good. They've been struggling, but there were a good number of people, and they yell at the referees when they don't like the calls and everything. It's a lot like Coleman Coliseum, really. A lot like the Neville Arena in Auburn. Coleman Coliseum, we're going to talk about that in a moment, but I don't want all of the kerfluffle about Charles Bediako to overwhelm this. That was a huge win for Auburn against the defending national champions in Gainesville on Saturday afternoon. Auburn, good defensive battle. Wasn't necessarily expecting that. It's the first win that Auburn men's basketball has had at the University of Florida in 30 years. And this is in 30 years.
Wow.
John and I have done a show together since 1997. And, of course, he's not here, so he can't even do it now. But during all that time, we had never been able to report and comment on an Auburn basketball win in Gainesville. Never. When Pearl was there going to the Final Fours and winning SECs, and when Florida was, they were gettable, you could beat them. Now, after Auburn has a coaching change, brand new young coach, and Florida is the defending national champion. That's when that happens. Bruce Pearl never did it, but Stephen Pearl did it on his first try. That's a huge win for Auburn, any way you slice it.
So, Barry, I watched the game, and what was fascinating, the commentators. So, obviously, Ty Golden and Stephen Pearl, both Jewish, and they both grew up playing in the Macabre games,
right?
Whatever, I'm gonna botch the name, but it's the Jewish youth,
the
athletics games.
I can spell it. I think it's Maccabi,
right. And they won the championship as teammates. They're childhood friends. They are as close. He was on Bruce Pearl's staff.
Yep.
And so all of that, and it was. They showed a picture of some teammates. They got together the night before for dinner at Golden's house. And shout out to the Phantom. That was the Phantom's daily dog.
It was.
Maybe sarcastically, maybe not. But it was I texted the Phantom about halftime. I said, "You're looking good on your daily dog."
Yep.
No response. I guess he has limited cell coverage.
That must be it. That must be it. But they led by 15 at halftime, and then hit a 3 to go up 18 early in the second half. Auburn ends up winning it by 9, 76-67. Huge win for Auburn. Now, Alabama, again, I did not get to watch the Auburn game because I was working or preparing for my own game. Got to watch the very tail end of the Alabama game on the bus on the way out. And Tennessee wins it in Tuscaloosa, 79-73. This was kind of the tone of it. Our buddy John from Wetumpka says Auburn had a great game, the best win this year, without a doubt. Bediako got more camera time than Taylor Swift. That's what everybody was talking about, rightly so. I'll never agree with the fact that he played in that or is eligible, but he played 25 minutes, 5 of 6 from the floor, mostly dunks, a couple of drop-offs for lay-ins and stuff like that. 13 points for Bediako, 3 rebounds, and a couple of blocks. That's what he's in there for, but he was not the difference maker that I think they need.
I think Bama loses by 15 or 16 if he doesn't play. And the reason is Holloway and Amari Allen didn't play, and they had nobody who could score. So they started talking about, I think at one point they were 3 for 10 from 3, which is they're usually putting up 30 a game.
They ended up 6 for 26.
Yeah. I mean, they had nobody who can shoot from the outside, and they were bad threes being taken. And Phylon was playing his ass off and unbelievable play, and just to keep it close. But man, the freshman for Tennessee, he finally figured it out, and it was one of those. It's just like in the NBA. I mean, it was such like an NBA game where they just came down, they isolated it. Bama did not double him, and when they did, it didn't matter. And he just take it down, back him down, turn around, do whatever he wants to, and he made everything. And they couldn't stop him. They put every single player guarded him unsuccessfully for Alabama.
Now,
and then they had a couple other guys that were lighting it up as well. So look, hats off to Tennessee. They played like world beaters.
Yeah.
So,
and the freshman, his name is Nate Ament. He had 29 points in the game. And you mentioned, he had help. Jacoby Gillespie had 24. Phylon had 26 for Alabama. Only one other guy got in double figures, and that was Reitzel, and that was it. So Alabama falls at home to Tennessee. Lots of conversation on College Game Day beforehand, lots of conversation during it about Bediako. Alabama's back at it pretty quick. They have Missouri at home at 7 on Tuesday. Auburn plays on Wednesday at home against Texas. at 6 on ESPN2. We've got to catch up on a lot of that. Kind of an open show today. Plenty of guests tomorrow, and John is back on Wednesday. We are underway on the last week's worth of programming in January, which has flown by. He's Warren Matthews. I'm Barry McKnight. Lots to come throughout the show today, and great to have you guys on the chat line as well. Awesome to have you guys there. This is Longshore and McKnight. Without the Longshore, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Longshore and McKnight. I'm Barry McKnight. Warren Matthews is in for John on the show today. We are recapping the Super Bowl, got some previews as well, recapping college basketball from over the weekend. Big win for Auburn. The Crimson Tide didn't look great, but like way offsides Jeff says, Bama looked like they were missing two starters and two of their best players, and that's true. I did see this. And if I had been to my own devices, I would not have seen this. Ty on the chat line says, I didn't watch either game. I watched Alex Hornold climb the skyscraper.
You remember that was on the wheel, Barry?
That was. And I would not have watched it if it was just me. But again, we were on a basketball bus heading through the absolute hinterlands of central and southern Georgia in the middle of nowhere. And that's what the players wanted to watch, was that guy on the skyscraper.
Oh, so did you watch it?
We did watch it. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have watched it, but the players wanted to watch it. We just wanted to, let's watch it. So,
what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were, I'm a little bit disappointed in American civilization, American culture, because I don't know. We got a bunch of great young men on the basketball team. I mean, one of the best teams I've ever been on. A coaching staff spot on. They weren't rooting for him. They weren't.
NASCAR? You're saying they're rooting for a wreck?
That's exactly what I'm saying. They weren't. They were. I mean, I wondered what would have happened. Number one, the announcers were extraordinarily irritating for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a couple of girls, I don't know who they are, and one guy, and bless their hearts, they were trying to dress up this guy climbing a building. Oh, there he is on the 71st floor. Boy, he must be tired by now. They actually had a wireless microphone for him. They checked in with him every once in a while, and they were talking, oh my God, like, Alex, are you like really tired or anything? Because, oh my gosh, like it's so high. I mean, it was just dumb. And he'd say, well, yeah, I'm pretty tired. look, I got to go on now. I don't want to, I don't want to cramp up. I got to say goodbye and keep on climbing the side of this mountain. And it was in Taiwan, and it was like 101 stories. And, I mean, I wasn't participating. I was listening to a lot of the guys, and they were like, look, what would keep somebody like day before yesterday just sneaking out on there and putting some Crisco on the ledge, I mean, I don't
think they allow the windows to open out on buildings like that.
Well, a window washer or something. They were just supposing, like, do they lock down the building for 3 days to prevent somebody from putting thumbtacks out there? Or what happens if he's like on the 85th floor, he's still got 16 to go, and he knows, I mean, he's hanging there like that, and he says, man, I can't go any further. Can they get some sort of a drone or a helicopter over there? And I mean, once he realizes, man, this is a lot more than I bargained for, what can they do for him? Has he got to just drop? A couple of them were saying, yeah, man, if you're up there, if you're committed to it, you got to take whatever happens. There really wasn't any suspense. There was never a moment where he's like hanging from one arm and everybody's like, oh my gosh. And then he, like Sylvester Stallone did in that mountain climbing movie, just, there was none of that. He just kind of made his way up there very safely, very deliberately. And, they got the crowd to cheer for him one time. And he says, I hear you. Thanks. And when he got to the top, it was too far away for the wireless mic, so they couldn't get an interview with him. And then, I know there were people out there who were going, well, why in the world do we watch that? That's an hour and a half of a bunch of nothing. And we expected something big to happen. It reminded me of one of those John Stossel things that you used to have on TV where he's going to open Al Capone's vault or something. When it's going on, you're thinking, is he going to fall? Is he going to fall? And when he doesn't fall, you're like, oh, man, he didn't fall.
Barry, they may say that about this show too, though.
Yeah, right.
But it's not today's use. This has been going on for years. Do we remember the flying Walendas?
Yes.
And the walkers that go between the buildings. That people have been amazed for years. I mean, Carl Walenda was, doing his thing in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So,
yep.
And his son Nick took over.
It was in Puerto Rico, I want to say. It was somewhere in the Caribbean where he was like 73. He's a tightrope walker, the Flying Walendas, and he was the patriarch. 73, and he's still out there doing it. And all of a sudden, he's in the middle. All of a sudden, here comes this gust of wind, and he falls, and that's it. And
so, Barry, I'm very proud of you because I just Googled Carl Walenda.
Yeah.
And he was 73, and he died in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I remember that. It scarred me as a kid because I'm watching that, and he is right in the middle. I remember watching, there was some guy who was on a tightrope from one end of Niagara Falls to the other. I was at Niagara Falls about 2 months ago, and I thought about that, and I thought, there ain't no way. I mean, I was 20 yards away from the falls myself, and I was nervous, So
Barry, did you go down into the falls?
I did not.
Okay, so I didn't either. My time at the falls, I walked up, I looked at it for about 5 minutes. I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, turn around and walked away. I mean, that was it.
The place, if you ever watched Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey and Morgan Freeman, and he's a newscaster in Buffalo, New York, and they had him down there in the part where you talk about into the falls. There's a place down in there with a wooden platform, and you can get wet and all that. I don't know what the attraction there is. Anyway, they call it the Cave of the Winds, which is what I used to call John's studio in private. I never, I never said that publicly, and I never understood the attraction for that. All those guys, you got. It is like NASCAR because a lot of the guys, it's not like they were hoping that anybody died or anything like that. But if he did, they wouldn't mind kind of seeing it, and at the very end of it, all it turns out to be is you just watched an hour and a half of a guy climbing something. That was it. And, they had, I guess it was a drone with a camera, and it's right beside him, and it's rock solid. And you're thinking, with today's technology, that drone could follow him all the way down if it wanted to. So it's just a big made-for-TV thing. I don't know what would have happened if he had slipped or had just gotten tired or something like that. But we did have a couple of questions. The college students are really good at just examining every particular aspect of any particular subject. How do you practice that? Has he had like when you get up to the 87th floor, that had to have been the only time he's been on the 87th floor. How does he know? Yeah. Or the 88th or whatever floor it is. I mean, he'd never climbed it before. You can't have a walkthrough like you can in basketball or in football. His first time up there is it. And,
That's almost as good a TV as I watched on ESPN with the T-Rex race. People dressed up like T-Rexes racing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The equivalent of the Ocho, would be my guess. It was an Ocho programming.
Yeah. All of that stuff. I never have been big on that. I used to get my fill when I was a kid with the American Sportsman with Kurt Gowdy and with the Wide World of Sports with Jim McKay. They'd go around the world, and they'd always have these sportscasters like Bob Biatti and Chris Economaki and some of those people. And they'd be in Switzerland for the, some of the things they had for like speed, whatever they call it, speed skiing, alpine, not the alpine, but the Nordic skiing, where basically all it is a guy go back and, skiing, he's not sliding. He's just kind of walking with his skis and everything like that. Yeah. Australian rules football. That's another one. They used to show that every once in a while, Chris the Bammer. I don't, I like watching stuff, but you'll never catch me watching that kind of stuff. Like the hot dog eating contest. Oh, Nathan's hot dog eating contest in Coney Island.
Dunking it in the water, and that's just bad. All right, Barry, I'm gonna go back to we're of similar ages. Yeah. My favorite show as a kid, I think it was on ABC. Well, maybe it was NBC.
Right.
It was ABC. Superstars.
Yes.
You remember Superstars?
I do remember Superstars. I can tell you about all of those guys. I used to love watching guys.
Bob Seagren. You remember Bob Seagren, the pole vaulter?
Bob Seagren used to dominate. Now, again, if you're below 50, you may want to tune this out because you probably don't know a lot of those guys. But you used to have Superstars they did it. Howard Cosell would anchor it, and it would be professional athletes from all different walks of life. And they would compete in decathlon style stuff, except they had some other things. Like you had how many times you could bench press, 125 pounds. And they would have, 100-yard dash, 1,500-meter run, and all that kind of stuff. And Cosell would interview them afterwards. And you always had guys that you kind of had heard of before. Like there was a guy that played in the old North American Soccer League. That was professional soccer in the United States. The Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Kyle Rote Jr.?
Kyle Rote Jr. Kyle Rote.
Not Kyle Rote. Not Kyle Rote, but Kyle Rote Jr.
Kyle Rote Sr. played for the New York Giants football team, played at SMU, really good. Kyle Rote Jr. was a soccer player, and they were from Dallas. Kyle Rote Jr. would just dominate that thing, and it would kill the Superstars because he would beat, like Franco Harris or somebody who everybody knew, and Franco Harris couldn't handle Kyle Rote Jr. You had some guys that were really, really good that you thought, hey, who knew? Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky would blow people away. They had the 100-meter dash. It was Wayne Gretzky against Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer, a football player. I couldn't remember who. Wayne Gretzky won that 100-meter dash by like 20 yards, stuff like that.
So, Barry, the greatest moment on Superstars, 50-meter swimming heat.
Yes.
Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier dives, jumps in the pool. They have to save him because he almost drowns. And then they interview him, and he admits he can't swim.
He never knew how to swim. Yeah.
So he thought that he could just fake it.
You can't fake swimming.
You can't make that up. I mean,
you used to have, all these guys that you never heard of before, but you also had guys that were, never heard of. They were really, really good athletes. You also had some spectacularly bad ones. If you want to look this up, I'm an empathetic person, so I remember this one. They had one of the best motocross racer in the world, motocross. His name is Gene Romero.
Wow. Couldn't come up with that one.
I remember him because Gene Romero, a motocross racer, was in the Superstars, and he was maybe the worst athlete I've ever seen in my life. And I was in gym class in elementary school. I've seen some bad athletes. I'll never forget because he was running in the 1,500 meters. Lou Ferrigno, who played the Incredible Hulk on TV, he was surprisingly good at the 1,500 meters. He didn't win it, but he was in the top 3. And I'll never forget afterwards 2 things about that particular race. Howard Cosell interviewed Lou Ferrigno, who has a speech impediment.
He does.
And nobody could really understand Lou Ferrigno, but he wasn't even breathing heavy. He's like 275 and just super muscled out. He was Mr. Olympia. And he wasn't even breathing hard, but you couldn't understand what he was saying. And if you looked in the background near the end of that post-race interview, in the background, here comes Gene Romero finishing that race. Like 8 minutes later in 1,500 meters. I mean, they were lapping him in the first lap. He was such I'm thinking, whose idea was that? Also, one other thing here before we go to break. Our buddy Plainsman Preston says, I remember Linda Carter in the Battle of the Network Stars. He says, I remember Linda Carter, period. Yeah. Battle of the Network Stars was also really, really good.
That was a spinoff, somewhat of a spinoff.
It was better than the original, let me tell you, son. You had some of the stars of Battle. You had Willie Ames from 8 is Enough, and that kid who bogarted his way onto Little House on the Prairie, and all those guys. But you also had Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company. Big fan of hers in the swimming competition. You also had Linda Carter. When you're 14 years old and you see Linda Carter in the swimming competition, that jump starts a few things, I would imagine. So very little known fact, you may not remember this, but as a broadcaster, at the very end, when it was petering out, do you know who the commentators were? For the Superstars?
Yes. Battle of the Network Stars.
Al Michaels,
Greeny, and Joe Tess.
Oh, that's right. They had kind of a remake of that. I like Greeny fine. Joe Tess, just too much. Tess is probably good for that.
All right, so Barry, I just looked it up. The first episode of Battle of the Network Stars, there were each network, the 3 networks had a captain and then teammates on that team.
Yes.
The captains were fantastic.
One of the captains I can tell you.
Go ahead. See if you can come up with it.
Don't tell me if I know one of them for sure. Don't tell me I'm wrong because I know I'm right. It's Gabe Kaplan, who was Mr. Carter.
Bingo.
Gabe
Bingo,
Kaplan was
Barry.
like permanent captain. He was there every year. Gabe Kaplan, who was Mr. Cotter on Welcome Back, Cotter.
All right, I'll give you a hint on the next one. He used to suck on a sucker. Who would that be? Detective who sucked on a sucker.
Telly Savalas. Telly
Savalas.
From Kojak. And the other one, it seems like it was.
How about, did he have an ever-ready battery on his shoulder?
Oh, knock it off, I dare you. Can't get it.
Robert Conrad.
Oh, yeah, from
whatever
Bob Black Sheep or whatever it was.
There you go.
Boyington. Yeah.
There you go. Look at you.
I used to watch that thing religiously. Like I try to tell John, I like watching competition. I like watching people compete. I'll watch a Division III football game. I'm not watching stuff like obsessively, but if I'll watch that. But nobody else is watching. So I kind of like that, watching people compete. I'll watch, everything in the Winter Olympics coming up. I'll watch it all.
We digress.
Yes. Well, more to come in just a moment. A good thought. We have this on our list from Tobias. Dabo Sweeney gets loose again, and I'm with him on this one. Warren Matthews is in for John Longshore. It's Longshore and McKnight. We are glad you're along with us. It's in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser. Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this Bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. F-150s for 16 grand off, or Lariat 4x4s for under 56 grand. And Super Duties, 12 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. Broncos for 12 grand off. Bronco Sports for 10 grand off. And Explorers for under 31 grand or 10 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
We roll on the Monday show. Barry McKnight here with Warren Matthews, and we have, we got several things on our list today. Alabama loses to Tennessee, but the real story there is Charles Bediako. I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot. If anybody gets, if I'm not going to bring it up constantly, but if anybody gets tired of my take on that, then don't bring it up, because I'll never agree that that's the right thing to do. But also, this as well from Tobias. Did you guys watch the press conference where Dabo exposed Ole Miss for tampering? I did see that. I didn't see the press conference live. Again, I worked all weekend, but this is telling. Dabo had a press conference where he absolutely documented timestamps about Ole Miss coach Pete Golding's efforts to swipe Luke Farrelly this week. He was signed by Clemson as a transfer portal. He initially signed with Clemson, and then he re-entered the transfer portal on Thursday and committed to Ole Miss.
He was in class and he was doing workouts.
Yes.
And he had signed a contract.
At Clemson. I mean, he was
At Clemson.
He had a class later that morning after his workout with Clemson. But there was a timestamp that Dabo put out there. And Farrelly, just in case you're wondering, Farrelly, you might say, who in the world is Farrelly? He was the ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year this past year.
How does Cal get these players that are actually really good?
Yeah.
And ultimately go somewhere else? Because the NCAA is littered with ex-Cal players.
Yes.
And then they do okay. I mean, they're middle of the pack, ACC kind of. I mean, to be way out there. I mean, Barry, did you see who else reached out to this kid?
Let's see. Ole Miss,
Trinidad Chambliss, and Jackson Dart both tampered with the kid.
Again, he had already signed. He was out of the transfer portal. He signed with Clemson January the 7th. He's from Cal. He moved to South Carolina. And he was there. He was in. What
is your buyout? What is your buyout?
Yes, that was the deal. Now, the Ole Miss GM who runs things, his name is Austin Thomas. He talked to the Clemson GM, Jordan Sorrells, that Thomas wanted no part of it, that his relationship with the Clemson GM, Jordan Sorrells, was more important to him than Luke Farrelly. But, quote, Pete Golding just does what he does.
Pete does what Pete does.
Yes, Pete does what Pete does. There is a timestamp text that said that Pete Golding sent. Again, Farrelly was no longer in the transfer portal, and he said, what is your buyout? What is your buyout? The guy said, he said, I was, I'm already signed. I'm already at Clemson. And he says, what's your buyout? Now, that's documented. That did happen. That was
the irony of that is breathtaking in that Dabo's downfall is that he's not played the portal.
Yeah.
And not play the transfer game and not really play the NIL game. He's gone with the ones and so. So now he branches out to build a team the way everybody else is, and they pick on him and he gets burned.
Sweeney said he had previously warned Ole Miss that he'd blow the whistle on under the table recruiting if Golding and Ole Miss didn't back off of Luke Farrelly, and they didn't, and they found out what his buyout is. Sweeney alleges that Golding texted Farrelly a photo of a $1 million contract and asked about his buyout at Clemson. Now, this is kind of a test case because, it happened. Dabo's got the goods on this guy. We will find out whether or not the NCAA has any capability at all anymore because they've got the proof. Will they?
Clemson should sue Ole Miss. Tortious interference with a contract. I'm no lawyer. I guess I am, but I'm not really. I at least know that. I can throw out a tortious interference with a contract claim.
Yes. There you go.
Tortious
do is a great word.
Do it.
Yeah. And, the NCAA, how do they handle that? Do they send Luke Farrelly back to Clemson? Does Ferrelli said, look, I was prepared to fulfill the buyout of the contract and all that, to go somewhere else. I want to be at Ole Miss. I want to make that $1 million. I don't want to be at Clemson. Does Clemson want him back? If he doesn't want to be back, if he's still looking back at that $1 million, there's a lot of things around it. If that guy, and Ferrelli bears some of the blame on this, Ole Miss tells him when he's no longer in the transfer portal, hey, come on over here. What's your buyout? We'll pay you $1 million. The kid went for it. The kid, it wasn't one of these, hey, a deal's a deal. My commitment is here and all that. He said, all right, I'll do it. This is where I want to be. Does Clemson want that guy back?
Let me ask you this, Barry. Is Pete Golding the luckiest man in the United States? Can you think of any other scenario where Pete Golding would be the head coach at an SEC program, but for the fact pattern that played out that was totally preposterous? Look,
I don't think so.
Good defensive coordinator. I don't know that he's in the top 10 of who you're looking for to be your next Power 4 head coach. And he falls into it. And now he's got to maintain it. So he's desperate. He's going to do what he has to do. And he's lost a fair amount to LSU and to other places.
He surely has. He
And,
surely.
he's trying to keep his quarterback who may or may not be kept. So he does have a decent but unproven quarterback coming in.
See, I'm disappointed in him because I kind of root for him. Alabama fans hated him when he was defensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin liked him. He's at Ole Miss. They didn't hesitate. They didn't bat an eyelash when Kiffin went to LSU. Boom, Pete Golding's our guy. They weren't looking around. They weren't, opening the job up. They weren't having interviews. As soon as he left, Pete Golding was not the interim coach. Pete Golding was the coach. They didn't hesitate. So they must have seen something during his tenure at Ole Miss for the athletic director, a guy named Keith Carter, to say, boy, if we ever lose Lane, this is our guy. And then he hauls off and wins a couple of games in the college football playoff and barely loses in the semifinals. So, if he just played by the rules, everybody would think this guy's got some momentum going. He's doing some things there. And now all of a sudden this happens. And believe me, I'm not being sanctimonious because everybody's doing it. But Pete Golding is the one that A, gets caught, and B, gets caught by a coach who doesn't mind naming names. There's a lot of coaches who will say, well, I'm not going to say anything. You know why I'm not going to say anything? Because I don't want anybody to out me.
Isn't that why you have a GM? Isn't that why you have a GM? To basically keep your coach away from situations like this.
And the Ole Miss GM, he says.
That should tell you if the GM won't do it, because you got to have an unscrupulous GM. He's
your buffer.
But he's also your bag man.
Well, yeah.
You got to have the bag man. The new bag man.
He's your, what's the word for it in The Godfather? He's your capo. He's your consigliere. If something happens, that's why he's the one that orders the hits, so nobody can trace it back that it was the Godfather that was ordering the hits. You have your GM to say, man, I had no idea this was going on. This is all on our GM who handles all of that stuff. And the GM won't even do it. He says, look, Pete does what he does. Well, Dabo's had enough, and now let's see what else comes out of that thing.
Pete Golding, caveman coach.
He's not the only one, though. I mean, you and I both know that this is happening on a rampant basis. Rampant. And, there were a couple of players at Troy. And last year when you had two portals, you could leave after spring, that were happy, that were productive, that were going to be in the plans after spring. And I talked to one of them on campus, walking to class the week after spring practice. Hey, man, how was spring for you? Oh, I'm psyched up. I'm ready to go. 4 days later, he was in the transfer portal and got snapped up within 20 minutes. These things happen.
So Auburn got a running back from Troy?
They did. A kid named Tay Meadows, who was a walk-on at Troy.
Really?
Yeah, he was a walk-on. Good, solid back, not a game breaker. Terrific kid. Very soft-spoken. And he rushed for Troy's number one running back out of fall got hurt before the season even began. So Tay Meadows, a walk-on, was Troy's starting running back. He ran for like 650 yards. Good, solid year. He ain't going to push Jeremiah Cobb.
Does he get paid? Does he get paid something?
Oh, yeah. I would imagine so. Not a lot. Because, I mean, he's from Roanoke, which is just north of Auburn. I mean, that's probably what he always wanted to do.
Clay County.
Yeah, but he's doing what he's doing. I don't know that Auburn fans should, and I love the kid. He's a good kid, but I don't know that you can go ahead and chalk up an SEC championship because Tay Meadows is on your team. I like him, but he's not that kind of a player. So lots to get to still on the program. There are some interesting sidelights in the Super Bowl. We'll get to that now that it's said. We got 2 weeks to go. Yeah, thank you, Dennis. I thought this was right. Roanoke's in Randolph County, not Clay County. Randolph.
All right, so they're right next to they're right next to each other, Barry. I went to a wedding in Roanoke, and we got there, and at the time, and maybe they still are, they were on fast time. In other words, they were on Eastern time.
Yes.
And we were early for the wedding, so we went across the line to drink beer to go back to the wedding.
And drink
and here I'm just going, since this is y'all been together for 27, 28 years, however long, the person whose wedding it was the person who gave Longshore the tip on who was going to be the next Alabama football coach. That was an absolute done deal. And he went out and said it on the air, and it wasn't.
The infamous, was it Mike Riley?
Mike Riley.
The infamous Mike Riley take that John still has never really lived down, even though he doesn't bat an eyelash about it, because he says at that time he was.
I'm telling you, there is not a source. I would have gone with it. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
I knew the source, rock solid. They were just wrong.
Yes. Randolph County is also the home of the infamous caller to Dialing Die one night with Jim Fife and with Pat Dye when he said something very, very injurious to Pat Dye, and Pat Dye got mad and says that he knows people in Randolph County. Between me and Warren, you can probably name any town in Alabama, certainly, maybe any town in the Southeast, and we might have a story. And certainly if John was involved in this as well, we got everything covered. He's Warren Matthews. He's in for John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Great to have you along with us here. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's under 30 grand or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers 12 grand off and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. New Rams, 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years. And heavy duties, 12 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's here. Victoryland Casino's Corvette 25K giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Drive away in a Corvette or win your share of $25,000 in free.
Back again, Longshore and McKnight. We're hopscotching here and there. If you're just joining us, whether live or on our loop, the news of the day: Super Bowl is set. It'll be Seattle versus New England in Santa Clara, Sunday, February 8th, 2 weeks, 5:30 on NBC. Big win for Auburn at Florida, the defending national champion, 76-67. Alabama loses at home with Charles Bediako, 79-73. Alabama was missing a couple of starters, but it is a difficult loss at home. Credit to Alabama people, and maybe it was because of Bediako, but they packed that place out. They it's not my favorite arena. I've been there a jillion times. I've broadcast from there a jillion times, but
it's Alabama's biggest rival.
Maybe so, but again, I get it. Well, we were without our two best starters. I get that. Alabama right now is 3-3 in the SEC. The Auburn is 4-3 for what all this means. Both Auburn and Alabama have 13 wins. Auburn has one more loss. Auburn is 8-1 at home. Alabama 6-3 at home. Alabama has not been great at home. If you look up and down, only Mississippi State has lost more home games this year. And they've lost 4. Has lost more home games this year than Alabama has. Kind of what I was leading up to. They got a great atmosphere. I mean, the fans are screaming and yelling. They're too far off the floor. They had some really average Charles Bediako posters. They should have been a little more creative with that. And I don't know. It just seems to me as though they've hit a dull stretch.
Well, Barry, back to Coleman. There's a significant donor I know who was they had like a search committee to go and visit various basketball arenas because they've got the property for a new basketball. They had the property, they have the location.
So that's not an issue.
And they've got the location,
okay.
And they went and visited all these different places, including Auburn. You know, they want an atmosphere like that. They don't need anything as big as Coleman. They want on the court, you know, presence of fans and students and things like that. What happened? Well, inflation in the world happened. They started running the numbers on it, and the cost was cost prohibitive to do a brand new facility. And to do a brand new basketball facility takes away money from the football program. So are you gonna detriment the football program by having a brand new basketball facility when revenue is the moneymaker is football?
Yes.
So you can't do that, even though you might have somebody give $50 million to name it like Neville did, you know, or something like that. But you're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for a brand new facility. So,
it's the circumstances don't favor them. Right at the point where they're just about to give the go ahead, then the building costs go sky high, and real estate costs go sky high.
And they went and did a state of the art practice facility so that appeased Oates.
Right, notes
somewhat. I mean, but you still don't have,
So along the same lines, as building costs skyrocket, then you start having everything change in terms of finances for the athletic department itself. Every penny they can possibly squeeze is going into revenue share and NIL. And this is happening everywhere. This is happening at Troy. This is happening at Jacksonville State. This is happening at Morehead State, where you better be identifying new streams of revenue, and you better be identifying new streams of revenue that don't cost anything to produce. The guy who comes in with an idea about, hey, we can raise this much money. Well, how much is it going to cost us? It's not going to cost us anything. Done. All of the money that they're thinking, well, we could probably fit the budget up a little bit more. We could probably make the cash difference on the budget, with the building costs. But then there's that money that needs to go into buying a quarterback. And man, we need some offensive linemen. We got to spend that money on that. We got $20 million. We can't spend an extra 15, 18, 30 million dollars on a basketball arena when we got to come up with 20 million of our own and NIL money of our own to pay for the football team. So it was a bad timing for all of that, and really nobody's fault. This also became a thing since the last time we talked, Warren. Speaking of new streams of revenue, I don't know if all of the limitations have been cleared, but the SEC has mandated, and the NCAA, that now you can put patches on your uniforms. The mandate is you can't have more than 4, and they can't be more than, I forget what it is. I could look it up. 4 inches by 4 inches, which seems large. You can only have a maximum of 4. 4 seems a lot on your uniform, and they can't be very big, but they still seem big. Obviously, nobody's going to buy an inch by an inch patch because they want it to be shown on TV. Get ready. Yeah, like Bill from Baltimore said, college jerseys can now have sponsorships on them. There is a limit. You can only have 4 on any NCAA school. And we were talking in my group with all the other Sun Belt Conference radio voices as to what our number one go-to patch sponsor would be, for instance. What would it be for Auburn? There will be, I'm not saying this is news, this is opinion, Warren. There will be a yellow patch somewhere on an Auburn uniform. Do you agree? A patch with yellow on it at some point.
There will be a yellow patch. I just think this just all of a sudden, what's the first thing that hits you? And I think they should have one patch that just says me on it.
Like Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no better sponsorship than me.
Yes.
Me.
I believe in me.
And maybe we get a Wonder Bread. I mean, that could be, an Alabama based.
There you go.
We could get Wonder Bread. I mean, that's Conecuh sausage. Conecuh sausage could be an excellent sponsorship for one of the schools.
Yeah, go. Think about all of them back in the
Wickles
day.
Wickles Pickles could be a great Auburn.
Yes, there's so many good ones out there for Alabama.
Maybe Dreamland, the original Dreamland.
Dreamland. Stop it with the Bojo's tires and rims. That's played. Stop it with the what's the other?
What's the suit? What was the guy in the mall who sold the suits?
The
T-Town Menswear. There we go.
Menswear. I don't even know if T-Town Menswear is still there, Bill, but I haven't.
My guess not. My guess it's not.
I'm pretty sure Bojo's Tires and Rims is probably gone too. But how will that make you? I mean, I feel like one of those guys who's leading a support group. How will that make you feel?
Well, it makes us feel okay, Barry, because if you look at our logos on this screen, we've got Bud Light and Stivers. So let's
Yeah.
It's the way they're just now coming to the real world. We've been in the real world for 2 years. So
Yeah. It's but patches on jerseys, I don't have a problem with it. I'm thinking, why not? I mean, you've got patches on NBA jerseys, but college is sacred. Listen, and I love the college experience. I loved mine. I'm glad that I work at a university that I'm proud of and all that. But these are not ivy-covered walls with students going around in big letter jackets saying things like peachy keen and golly gee and all that kind of stuff. This is a cutthroat world of college athletics nowadays. And if somebody else is making sizable money by putting patches on their jerseys and your school is not, because you've got standards, you're holding out for the way college used to be, you're going to go 0-12 really quick. Yeah, Bill from Baltimore brings it up. How about Gatorade for the University of Florida, which is where Gatorade originally was invented.
If I'm a university, my first marketing department, my first call is to Emirates. They sponsor every single sporting something around the world.
You see them on, I watch
Emirates Airlines. You see them at the Wimbledon. I mean, you see them everywhere. French Open, everywhere.
English Premiership soccer. You see them all that. You see them hockey, all that kind of stuff. But where else, what would be? Are there any standards of things you cannot have? Things you cannot do. X-Mart, cigarette manufacturers, the same things that they have. I guess they still have limits on what you can put on signage in schools, in stadiums and stuff. You can't have a cigarette. I didn't think you could have hard liquor, but I think maybe you do. I know you can have beer.
Barry, I got it.
Lottery.
It's a natural. It's a natural. I got it. You heard it here. It's January 26th of 26 for Alabama. There will be a patch that has Old Forester on it, because there's more Old Forester drunk in that stadium than any other booze going on. Has been for 100 years. Old Forester, natural, Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Here we go. It's perfect. Sign it up.
That's an interesting insight. What else? I mean, where would you have Keeneland on Kentucky uniforms, Gatorade on Florida uniforms, Square
Jewel?
Book?
How about Jewel? We gonna have some vaping?
I hope not. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, I don't know that there's any legal limit to all that, but I mean, if there are some schools out there where, I mean, it doesn't matter if they'll pay you the money. I mean, you can have Murder Incorporated on there if you want to, or one of the adult stores that you see billboards on near the Tennessee line. Those kinds of places. I understand it in this day and age. I know there are fans who are going to rage till the dying day that this is not the way it's supposed to be, and maybe it's not, but that's the way it is. Bill from Baltimore, no, not going to happen. And along the other ones, I like the suggestions. Arity's Angels. I'm not even sure Arity's Angels is still open in Pensacola anymore, but they did their part to keep Mike Price from ever coaching a game at the university.
I got one for Auburn. I've got one for Auburn.
Okay.
Perfect. The Georgia Lottery.
Can you do that? Can you? I don't even know. Can you advertise even now? I don't know, because I mean I've never really thought much about diving into the lottery.
Everybody's driving over there to LaGrange and go to West Point to get their lotto tickets.
Can you put a billboard? Can you put a Georgia lottery billboard in Alabama? Have we seen any? I don't know.
Well, yeah, Caldwell, I say that, but there are Tunica signs in Birmingham. So
okay,
they can't tell you exactly what they do because that's illegal, but they can advertise their establishment.
Well, like I see, the signs for some of those casinos, and they'll have, hey, join us for Pablo Cruz, or,
winners every time.
Or this weekend only and stuff. And, all that. But I know you can, I know there are billboards for that thing in Alabama because you can go on 231 and you can see, billboards for Wind Creek and all that in Alabama. But I just wonder about billboard. Of course, you see Victoryland billboards because Victoryland's a reputable establishment within the state of Alabama. But can you see a Georgia lottery billboard in Alabama? Could you put a Georgia lottery patch on an Auburn uniform? I wonder that, but that's another thing that's out there. One more thing about the changing way of athletics here. It will be next year. College athletics, the college football playoff will have 12 teams. We've been telling you about the big deal with the college football playoff committee scheduled to meet last week. The Big Ten wants a 24-team playoff. The SEC wants a 16-team playoff. And they had Friday as their deadline to submit something different to the committee, board of managers, and to ESPN and all that. And they didn't do it. They couldn't agree. So next year, it'll definitely be a 12-team playoff. I
tend to agree with Sankey on this in the sense that you were basically going, Tony Petitti said, okay, we want 24 because obviously they're weaker after the first few. Okay, they want to get a few more in. And that's okay, fine. But we don't know if 24 is good. We don't know if 16 is good. We think 16 is good. Everybody kind of feels like 16 is the sweet spot. But going to 24, that could cause chaos. And it gets rid of the playoff game. The championship game, which will probably happen anyway at some point. But it's pretty fast to go there without knowing what you're getting into.
And it's all for what the television networks want anyway. 24 team, the Big Ten wants a 24-team playoff, and they'll give you lip service about, it'll add more schools from the group of 5, and it will. But that's not why. They're not looking out for anybody else. They are wanting a guarantee of, is it 6 Big Ten schools that get into the playoff. And after that, whatever happens, happens. But they want 6. The SEC wants 4 in a 16-team playoff, which is more doable. Division 1A, Division 1 AA, Division 2, Division 3, they all have a 16-team playoff. A 24-team playoff, I'm with Bill from Baltimore on this. What's the point of this season if you got a 24-team playoff? If you're the number 5 team in the Big Ten and you're in, or even the number 3 team in the Big Ten, under no way are you going to drop 3 spots and drop out of the Big Ten postseason promise at the 1st of November. So what difference do all your November games mean if you're in the playoff?
Why go to 9 games? Why to go to 9 conference
exactly
games?
Right.
There's no benefit to that.
Yeah. And which is one of the things that Greg Sankey was saying, because he got dragged into 9 games kicking and screaming. And basically what he's saying is, wait a minute, everybody was screaming at us to get 9 games. We finally do. And now you're going to go to a playoff scenario that makes it all meaningless? Why in the world did we do that? Well, more to come in just a moment. We've got several things still we want to discuss. Great stuff from our chat line. It's always good. It's Longshore and McKnight with Warren Matthews in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the bush light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150s over 16 grand off plus 2.9%. And your last chance for a tax credit on Lightnings. 17 grand in savings or 0% or $349 a month with zero down.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Broncos under 35 grand. Bronco Sports under 24 grand. Rockies under 29 grand or $299 a month with zero down. And new Explorers 10 grand off or 2.9%.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
About 17 minutes into our second live hour. John always likes giving the time, but then again, I'm mindful that you might be listening at, 7:23. You don't necessarily listen right at the top of an hour. Maybe you say, hey, I want to watch Longshore and McKnight, and it's 6:43 in the afternoon. Let's fire it up. And John will give me the time, and it messes me up. I will let you know we're 17 minutes into our second hour of the show, whenever and wherever and however you might be watching us here on our YouTube channel, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Apple Podcasts, on anything really. We are here and live for you. Warren is here. He'll be back again tomorrow on the show. Several different things to address here on the program today to kind of catch you up on some of the news of the day. The Super Bowl is set. Seattle and New England, great game last night. The earlier game was only notable because of the conditions. Very rarely do you get to watch an entire weather system move in with all of its fury live on television. And it did in the New England-Denver game, definitely affected the game. New England wins it. The night game was beautiful. In Seattle, place is nuts. Seattle's an underrated town. You've been to Seattle before. You had to have been, right?
Yep. It's a great town. Seattle and Portland are two of my favorite places in the whole country. From a standpoint of just, I love the atmosphere and things like that. And then south of Portland is actually where if I were going to retire, there are two places I would retire: down in Bend or down in southwestern Oregon, or up in Maine, about mid-coast of Maine. Those two places, temperature's good. It's very rural. It's not fancy. It's just an awesome place to be. So
I've been through Portland. I've called games in Corvallis. I've been to Seattle. I was telling, and I shouldn't have done this because we were talking again on the team bus over the weekend. I was on a bus for forever. We had a couple of flights in that Norfolk, Virginia, Statesboro, Georgia swing that I made where I was.
Right, Barry, the bus has a bathroom, right?
Yes.
Who gets stuck? Who gets stuck back by the bathroom?
Oh, those are the seniors. The
Huh?
seniors, and you don't hardly have any seniors anymore, but the upperclassmen, the team captain stuff, they get the back of the bus. But here's the thing, here's the protocol. You don't ever use that back bathroom ever for number 2. You don't.
Well, sometimes there's an emergency, Barry.
Well, there is, but if you plan things right, you know that, right before, for instance, when you're flying into Atlanta from Norfolk, Virginia, and you got to get on a bus in Atlanta, and it's 3 hours to Statesboro, that you better take care of business in the Atlanta airport. There's probably going to be a stop either for gas. Coming back from Statesboro, we stopped at Buc-ee's. You got to handle your business big time. And it's not necessarily critical, but when you are coming in from Statesboro via Macon and Columbus, we talked about you coming in, just short of Eufaula, then you're going to what is it? We're in Hatchetchubby, coming into Troy that way. When you know that there ain't a stop and you're right at the very end, you better be pretty mentally strong that you're gonna hang on without that. Because 2 things. Number 1, the bus sometimes is almost uninhabitable after something like that. The protocol for people who don't know in a bus, your coaches sit up front. Your staff sits behind him, which I'm staff. I usually sit in the 5th row left side. Strength and conditioning coach in front of me. Over on the right, you've got some of the managers and the athletic trainer. Behind them, you got freshmen. Behind them, you get, and at the back, it's the guys who have been there a few years. And those guys are like the Legion of Doom. They're the ones wearing the robes with the judges and there. If you have to go back there, they'll check you ahead of time. Number 1, right? Okay, yeah, you can go on. And if there's some sort of transgression, they will let everybody know about it for a week or 2 after that.
So Barry, yeah. I'm not a good person, okay? But because I like to play practical jokes and do various things. So
I've heard that about you.
This is my thing. Be sitting in the front of the bus. What you do is you run, flailing your arms to the back and go in. And they just know it's coming. And you just go number 1, but it's fine. They think you're doing, So
the problem, and I'm always fine. I never have an issue, but the protocol is because the bus, everybody's not sitting straight up, prim and proper in their seat. We've got guys that are 6'9", 6'8", In football, you've got guys who are 310 pounds or whatever, and they spread out. So what I have to do, and I'm older, what everybody has to do when you go into the back is you've got to walk,
climb over,
back on the handrests. Over sleeping people and all of that. So, which I can do, but there's a lot of guys who have the position that I'm in that are portlier than I am and older than I am, that it's a difficulty for them. And they also do not necessarily have the control of a younger player. So it's something we don't rarely ever talk about. We probably don't need to be talking about it now, because I know my mom's watching, but it is a thing. But you get on the bus on the way back. And like I said, this all began when I was talking about I'm on the bus. I spent a lot of time on the bus. And we were talking about this. We watch a lot of basketball on the bus. And, during baseball.
Who decides what's on, Barry?
The guys in the back usually, but it's always cleared by the coaches up front. The coaches will say, get that off and da-da-da. We watched a little bit of Dave Chappelle on the way back, which, sometimes is pretty funny. But that's because all the basketball.
I saw him at Bridgestone, and I will say, truly one of the most inappropriate but funny people I've ever heard. And I say inappropriate, he skewers everyone.
Everyone.
But he, the funniest guy though, he brought up, there was a guy that had muscular dystrophy who's a comedian. I don't know if he's even still alive now. And he had befriended him. And so he brought him on the tour with him so he could help pay for his medical expenses.
Oh. And
that guy was the crudest comedian I'd ever heard.
And that is
he was hilarious. He was hilarious. But he's a loyal kind of guy.
Yeah.
That way. And funny. He's a genius. I really think he is there aren't many geniuses out there. He is a genius.
He is very funny. But so we end up, there's a lot of conversations about a lot of different things. It's one of the great parts about my job, and I'll tell anybody this. I get to be around young people every day, which I absolutely love, because you get new perspectives. A lot of times it's the same stuff over and over again. Young people talk about the same stuff young people have always talked about, but it's new perspectives on stuff. And we were talking with a couple of them about Bediako. And they brought up a couple of things. Number one, each one of them is getting some sort of compensation. Each one of the guys on the bus are getting some sort of, maybe not much, but with everybody's getting something besides just books and board and everything. And a lot of them aren't getting that. But the one issue about Bediako that, and again, I am not for it. I mean, this guy was an NBA player. It's different when you are playing overseas in Serbia for $50 a game at a gymnasium like you'd have at Capitol Heights or Bellingrad. Just playing to play and making $50, pay for your gas and a meal or something like that. And then go to America, as opposed to a guy who has been and has had multiple NBA contracts and is coming back to college because his G League career is not great. If you look, Bediako was averaging about 4 points a game in G League and not making a bunch of money. He evidently is making a lot more money as a student athlete at Alabama in a stopgap measure. But what they had a problem with was, and I never really thought much about it, is the timing of it. I mean, it's the end of January. They are shopping. Alabama, let's see. Alabama, with their loss to Tennessee over the weekend, Alabama, that was their 19th game. They had played 18 games before Bediako was a member of the team. I mean, a member of the program. You'll see, and you can probably name several guys who were in the past academically ineligible in the fall. They didn't make the grades they needed to in the summer, so they're academically ineligible in the fall. They joined the team 1st of January, and they're in right in time for the start of conference play. You got guys that are injured, and finally they're back and rehabbed, and they begin playing in mid-January. This guy wasn't even on the team. This guy wasn't even part of a program until whatever it was, January the 21st. He was on the outside looking in. Whether or not he's a pro or not a pro, can you do that? When's the deadline? Can you sign somebody right before the conference tournament? Can you sign a guy for 2 weeks when you've got 4 games on the road against ranked teams, and then when that's over, you cut him loose? That was what a couple of the guys were talking about. How about right now when Troy, who is 8-1 in the league and rolling right now, Troy is 15-6. How about if they just sign some guy and get him into an online class, and all of a sudden that ain't going to go over well? So that's as much as anything. When can you add a guy from outside? And in the past, you sent to the NCAA, this is my roster. These are the people that are part of my program. This guy's injured. He won't be healthy until January, They submit that. These are our guys. And now, 19 games into the season, Alabama says, oh, yeah, we're going to put this guy in too. Yeah, this guy all of a sudden is a part of our program. He's been a student, since the 1st of January, but he hadn't been a part of the program. That's wrong. That's not right, whether it's Alabama or Morehead State or anybody.
The worst part, Barry, is that whether it's right or wrong, it's chaos. It's just chaos. What are the rules? All right, so where can you go look up now? What are the rules? Well, the NCAA has plenty of rules, but
they're not enforcing many of them.
They're not enforced them. They're not enforceable. They're not enforcing them. It's I'm telling you, it's chaos. And look, it will catch up, but I don't see a path. Where's the path? Nobody. If the really smart people in sports don't see a path, then we're in trouble, because it's basically they don't want to mess with the financial model. That's basically what they're saying. And until the financial model gets addressed, none of this can happen. So
yeah, it's
just chaos. It's not but look, let's be honest. This is all BS. Intercollegiate athletics is a sham at the highest levels. It's still fine at the Troy level. It's still fine at everything else, but it's a sham.
You go watch Huntington, you go watch Faulkner, and they know the rules. They play by the rules. There are set rules. Nobody is getting rich playing basketball at Alabama State. Nobody's getting rich playing basketball at AUM. They're playing because they love playing, and it's a chance for them to get their schooling paid for, which is what it was all intended to be.
And D3, you don't even get your schooling paid for.
That's right. Huntington.
You might get some sort of scholarship that pays for some of it, but you're still coming out of pocket.
Yes.
Believe me, I know. I know about D3 athletes. And honestly, they work just as hard as D2 and D1. They spend the time, they're in practice, which makes me admire D3 athletes even more. Barry, to me, as a 60-year-old male growing up in the Wiregrass, there is no better athlete than former Troy quarterback Mike Turk. When he was playing, obviously he beat out some strong competition in high school.
Underratedly strong.
Secure his spot.
Yeah.
But watching him in college run the wishbone against amazing athletes, I'm going to tell you something. I played pickleball with Mike Turk the other night out at Fane Park in Montgomery, our new facility.
Yeah.
The dude is still cat quick.
Yeah.
With a knee replacement. So very competitive too. He's got Huntington still going, but look, that's D3 is true sports. I mean, that's what it's about. D2 even. And then you get anything below the Power 4, I think you're still there. So the basic difference is that television is not interested in NAIA or Division III or Division II. Television is extremely interested in the Power 4. That's where all the money comes in. That's where the difference is. That's where all the that's where a lot of the equipment is paid for by. A lot of the fan amenities are paid for by is television. The money is in and of itself not bad. I mean, it's not the love of money. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, and that's what's changed things, and that's what everybody is chasing, and that's why there has to be some sort of guidelines about how we're using all of this money. Next week, and Bama fans,
You're sensitive. I get this. This is not anti-Alabama. I am surprised. Two things about it. Number one, that Alabama is the school that floats the test balloon instead of Morehead State or Eastern Kentucky or Georgia Southwestern or someplace. Why is it Alabama that is the one that takes this? Did they need somebody more than anybody else? I don't think so. They're pretty good. Well, why not a team that's 5-15 that really needs somebody? And number two, if they're going to get somebody, why is it Bediako? Somebody actually brought this up that's an Alabama fan. They said, man, if we're going to get all this and we're going to get all this back chat from all the national media, could we get a better player than Bediako? What's up with that? I don't know. But here's what it all ends up being, is that the precedent has now been set. Other schools can do it now and say, well, why can't we do it? Alabama did it with Charles Bediako. And Bama fans, when you play next, when you play against Missouri, and all of a sudden today, and you play Missouri in Tuscaloosa tomorrow night, all of a sudden today, Missouri says, hey, we have picked up Michael Porter Jr. He's coming back and he's playing for us. Why not? Why can't we do it? How would you feel about that? Again, it is not anything against Alabama. I promise you, if Auburn did this, Bama fans would be on Auburn as well. It's not anything against them. I'm surprised that they're the ones that are doing it, but the entire precedent is going to be injurious to the sport because there are no rules. If so, 1st of February, if Duke comes up and they say, hey, we got Grayson Allen back, he's going to help us February and March. Nothing against it. Nothing against it. And that's because of the precedent that's been set. And I will always think that is a bad precedent.
Barry, better story though would be if Carlos Boozer came back to Duke to play with his sons.
Yeah.
I think that would be an excellent story.
A return to Duke where Boozer, he played with some of those great teams. His son just put up 30 the other night. And watch out for the freshman. Dibansia for BYU put up like 43. The kid
that dude's for real.
He's unfair.
He was bought and sold by a tech billionaire. He is not Mormon, by the way. He is not Mormon, but he agreed not to drink, swear, or smoke for 12 months so that he could get paid $1 million.
For that $7 million. You know, he would not. Yeah, Keaton Wagler for Illinois. He had 46 against Purdue. Kingston Flemings for Houston had 42 again. These are all freshmen out there. That may be the way to go with all that money that you're spending otherwise. Let's take a break. Coming back, more of Longshore and McKnight. It's in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. At 150s for 16 grand off, or Lariat 4x4s for under 56 grand. And Super Duties, 12 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. Broncos for 12 grand off. Bronco Sports for 10 grand off. And Explorers for under 31 grand or 10 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Going to bring up something here that may not be mainstream, not necessarily esoteric, but we're talking about young athletes, AJ DeBansa, Keaton Wagler, the kid for Tennessee who had 29 the other day. Ament from, he had 29, freshman from Tennessee, young players. The youngest American, and I'm going to screw this up.
Blades Brown.
Huh?
Blades Brown?
No. I won't get that one.
Oh, okay.
The youngest American man, the youngest American man to reach a major quarterfinal since Andy Roddick in 2002. 25th seeded Lerner 10, who is 20. He beat Daniil Medvedev and he has made the quarterfinals of the Australian Open.
Yeah.
It's tennis. The Australian Open. It's the first Grand Slam event, and we know the Grand Slam, Wimbledon, Australian, U.S. Open, and the French. It's the first Grand Slam event of the Open era, which was 1968, in which no unseeded men reached the round of 16. Only seeded players reached the fourth round of the Australian Open.
So Barry, Gurn Jr.'s mother and sister attended the Australian Open this week. And this is an interesting factoid. You know, there's a little bit of weather going on across the country.
That is an interesting factoid.
And their flight, they actually went from Melbourne to Sydney to spend a few days before coming back. So their flight from Sydney is to Dallas. Okay.
How long?
It's 17 hours or something like that. And so the question is, can they get into Dallas? I mean, there's ice, there's snow. It's supposed to get in about 2:00 in the afternoon. So you got a 17-hour window before that. So we're monitoring it. We're making alternate plans to go through Los Angeles to get them back to the country, things like that. Well, the Saturday flight's canceled, but the Sunday flight is fine. So they're delayed out of Sydney. And this is why they're delayed. It is too hot in Sydney. It's 2 degrees too hot for them to take off because it's making the airplane too heavy. It's summertime in Sydney.
Yes, in the southern hemisphere, January is summer.
So they cannot leave till the temperature goes from like 98 to 96. And they're going to a place that they may or may not get in. Well, guess what? They got in, but never got out. They were stuck there. They spent the night in a hotel in Dallas after trying to get on a flight back to Alabama. But
how long is that flight?
17. I've done it from Los Angeles, and it was 14 or 15. I think it was 15.
Yeah.
So it's a long way. And as we had somebody tell us, and I will tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to go to Australia, do it. It's the greatest place. But as a guy said to me, everybody would come. It's just so damn far to get here.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things. So that guy, your teenager who's now in the quarterfinals, there's also another kid in the quarterfinals, Ben Shelton. Okay. Yeah. You should like Ben Shelton. He's a Gator.
Yes.
His dad, though, is an Alabama guy. Brian Shelton. He grew up playing junior tennis in Huntsville.
I know. I did not know that was his son,
a lot of my friends who play junior tennis who are early 60s played against Brian Shelton. And he was a hell of a junior tennis player, went to Georgia Tech, played at Georgia Tech, coached at Georgia Tech, both the men and the women. And then he moved to Gatorland and coached Florida. And then his son won the NCAAs and then obviously went pro. And I don't think he's not still the coach. I don't believe. But Brian Shelton, Huntsville native, son Ben Shelton, who is a hell of a player and fun to watch.
Yes, he is. He is a really good kid too.
Yes.
How about that? I did not know that. I'm kind of a little bit blown away. That's really cool.
Barry, you may or may not have seen this. The one that I'll leave this for the tournament. Did you see Naomi Osaka's outfit going on to the court? You may not.
Should I have?
Do you have the ability to Google something real quick? It's really worth. Just Google Naomi Osaka and outfit. It's that good.
Naomi Osaka. I know who she is, obviously.
I know you know who she is.
Yeah. So. Outfit. All right. We have to look under images, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to look Australian.
It is truly one of the most bizarre outfits that she wore onto the court.
All right, what the heck? Oh, it's got a. I'm looking at an umbrella, a white umbrella.
I knew it would freak you out. That's why I made you look it up and watch it.
Oh my gosh!
It is truly a crazy image.
All right.
Let's see if
we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to give me a moment here.
So, Barry, to add to that, on the way home last night in the Dallas airport, I get a text from my daughter, and it's a selfie with Naomi Osaka. They just went through. TSA. There you go. How about that?
What? This is me on the fly, Mr. Technology here. I got that done.
But let's see if you can get it off too. That's going to be even better when the time comes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Naomi Osaka. So my daughter has a selfie with her on the way back because they went through TSA. They went through customs together.
Right.
So anyway.
What's the reasoning for that? Why in the world would she do that?
She's odd. She's just she's just odd, and she's a hell of a player. She's had a great run.
Oh, she's good.
Kind of had a downturn, and then she's come back a little bit. So
yeah,
we'll see if she. So yeah, Barry, would you say it's unlikely that your co-host would have taken you to that?
It would have been. It would have been unlikely.
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure you can. We're in agreement. We're in consensus on that.
Yes, it would be highly unlikely. Highly unlikely that he would have been able to get that picture on the air, but also highly unlikely that he would ever know who Naomi Osaka is in the first place. But we love him. Coming up in just a moment. Again, full. Disclosure, we haven't disclosed this yet. There has been loads of bad weather in Nashville. So Gurn Jr., who produces the program from Nashville, Tennessee, he has no internet. So basically, it's just me and Warren, and I'm running.
So Barry, let me brag on you. Barry is running the ship. So I started thinking about what is this like, and one of my favorite movies is a Matt Damon movie called The Martian.
Yeah.
And I feel like Barry is kind of figuring out as he goes, trying to work his way back to get through the show. He knows how to do all these things, and he's done them before, but he's running the show. We've got Mission Control is monitoring by a candle and his phone in Nashville, but I think things aren't going well. Let's put it that way. Two things is he's in the dark, literally, and B, he lives at the top of a hill, and to get down to the road, I don't know how he's going to get there.
Oh,
there are kind of layers. It's kind of like a steps, but it's pure 1 foot of ice. He may just have to get on his butt and slide down. It's that bad.
I may have to do this again
he
tomorrow.
may be in for a while, and they're talking days on the power. Now we're crossing our fingers that it's going to get fixed.
Yeah,
but
there's
300,000 out in Nashville, and it's not looking great. So,
wow,
we're thinking about it. Hey, he's listening. So Gurn Jr., we're thinking about you.
Yep,
hate that we're not going to get a wheel. The wheel is, I listen to the wheel every day, but we'll when we get back, we'll commiserate. But anyway, Barry can lead us out to our last break.
Yeah. Coming up, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's here. Victoryland Casino's Corvette 25K giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Drive away in a Corvette or win your share of $25,000 in free play and cash.
Great to have you along with us here. We're coming down the stretch of the show. Tomorrow on the program, of course, we'll visit with Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Plus, we'll also have some time with Travis Ryer from Ryer on YouTube to kind of go over basketball from over the weekend. We got a lot of other stuff to get to as well. But we close this out here today. There is no topic wheel, as we mentioned, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino. But we are talking a little bit about basketball itself. The upcoming schedule is pretty good in the SEC. Coming up on Tuesday, there is action. Again, Alabama hosting Missouri at 7 on the SEC network. Arkansas on the road at Oklahoma on ESPN. Kentucky and Vanderbilt on ESPN at 8 from Nashville. I only bring that up. I was not going to go over the schedule until Warren said
I assume that one will get played. That's why I bring it up. And that's Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. That may be tough. I mean, it depends on the roads, obviously. And the airport. The airport should be open. And I think fly in and get there.
8 o'clock Tuesday night, tomorrow night. And again, it wasn't a big topic until Warren brought up the fact that Gurn Jr. lives in Nashville and he's got an inch of ice on the roads out there. That one's going to be difficult. They may move that to Wednesday, but even Wednesday might be doubtful.
Yeah, it's tough. That'll be interesting. So Longshore has texted in. All right, by the way, to recap only what I know, Barry may know about the Phantom, but the Phantom's daily dog last Friday.
Yes. The Phantom.
Auburn at Florida, and they won.
And to my eternal discredit, that was the show that we did on Thursday, which means I was in Virginia that day. He brought that up. Florida was an 11.5-point favorite.
Didn't need the points.
Yeah.
Didn't need the points.
11.5. That's a ton. And I brought it up. Shows how smart I am. I brought up the fact that Florida has really started to figure things out. They had won at that point, I think 5 or 6 in a row. They were leading the SEC at that point at 5-1. And that Auburn had not won in Gainesville in 30 years. And he said, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't want to hear it. Auburn's going to cover that game. 11.5 is a lot. He said they may not win it, but they'll get in under the 11.5, and who knows? They might haul off and win it. And they did. I don't know how he knows. Obviously, we're not going to have a Phantom's Daily Dog again until John is back on Wednesday.
No, Barry, he has texted. I just got a text.
Oh, that he texted you with a Daily Dog for today.
He texted me the Daily Dog. Here it comes. It's hot
go.
off the press. The 76ers are playing Charlotte. Okay.
He's been big.
And Charlotte is not a great record, and the Sixers do, but the Sixers are a 3.5-point dog.
Got that.
So he's going with the Sixers tonight as his Phantom Daily Dog.
How in the world?
I don't know.
In the world.
They must be they could be sitting Joel Embiid. I don't know. There's got to be something, but they are a 3.5-point dog in Charlotte.
I love that. 3.5 points. Charlotte's 10 games under 500. They aren't playing at home.
Yep.
76ers are 4 games over 500.
Yep. And Maxi's averaging like 29 points a game.
Oh, you got to jump. You got to jump on that.
So anyway,
look, he's not the one that has to explain why. He's the one that just has to tell you.
That's right.
What to do. All right, that's a great one. So that is our Daily Dog. I've got that duly noted. Philadelphia plus 3.5 at Charlotte in the NBA. And then, they're, again, if they end up playing, I don't know. I've never been a weather guy. I always dress poorly for the weather. When I was growing up in Central Florida, I had a couple of long sleeve shirts and a jacket, and that was it. I had 3 pairs of long pants to wear basically to church. That was the only time I wore long pants. So I know it's bad north of us, or a lot of ice north of us, and Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas got it bad and everything. But I mean, it rained in Troy yesterday on the way back from church. It's cold right now, but the rest of the week, I'm hope we're okay. I think we're okay around here, but goodness, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody up there who is dealing with all that. What that means is that if the Phantom were to text in tomorrow, he will have some SEC games if they play them. Arkansas and Oklahoma should be good, right? Kentucky at Vanderbilt, I don't know. And Missouri.
Boy, Vanderbilt beat the dog crap out of Mississippi State.
It
was embarrassing. I watched it. It was embarrassing for Mississippi State. It ended up being 32, but it was 25 the whole time.
Yeah. And again, this is a Vanderbilt team that had lost 3 in a row.
It was at the hump. They
were on the road, and it just I don't understand basketball and why it happens. Vanderbilt had just gotten beaten by Texas.
I don't think Mississippi State's coach is going to make it.
Chris
don't.
Jans.
I like him, rough. But he looks like he's constipated constantly on the sidelines. It's just like things aren't going well.
Speaking of constipated, on our team bus. No, I'm just kidding. I've already gotten some back chat from people. Why are you talking about that on the show? It just
those males like to talk about number 2.
We didn't say that necessarily. We're just talking about team bus hierarchy: football bus, women's basketball bus, baseball bus, softball bus, all college athletes buses. They've got that hierarchy of seating, what you do, what you don't do, things that are appropriate and things that are not. I live
very I'll leave you my last thought today, since you're we'll leave it on the bus. one of my greatest memories was being a ninth grader. And if you remember the show, The White Shadow,
Yeah,
that was me in ninth grade. We went to state. We had a great team. We had 4 guys who could dunk. Wasn't me. We had 4 guys like me who came off the bench when in mop up time, and there was a lot of mop up because we were really good. But the greatest memory I had is we were going over to play Dolphin Street over in Enterprise.
right.
And I hear a song. I've never really heard anything like it before. And it was the first rap song. Can you name it?
Was it the Sugar Hill Gang?
The Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight.
Yeah, right.
And it truly is one of, I mean, every time I hear it, it just brings back childhood memories of playing in those Cracker Box gyms in the Wiregrass on a team that was fantastic, and I was not, you know?
Uh-huh. You started to, I mean, Coolidge was the best player, you know, Ken Howard was the coach.
Ken Howard's coach.
High school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great
Anyway.
stuff. Well, on that note, much appreciation for you chipping in. Warren will be back tomorrow when we will visit with Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, and Travis Ryer from Ryer on YouTube. I'm Barry McKnight. This is Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.